Hello, Paper Guy here, back with another replay review. This time we have Good Soup, a gold Order of the Dragon player, playing against Byzantine. So he wants to know what he could have done better on this match. Now, before we jump into it, this is just a really hard matchup for Ottoman. Sorry, not for Ottoman, my apologies. Order of the Dragon. Because you struggle against civs that can produce units just purely outmass you, and Byzantines can do that. Once they start getting olive oil and they start making mercenaries, that pop of mercenary production can really put you behind as Order of the Dragon. But Byzantine have a warm-up period. So to me, as Order of the Dragon, you have two options when it comes to playing against Byzantine. One, you go very aggressive early. On this map, cliffside's small, so you can do that. If you want to try, you can do a Dark Age aggression, where you actually go and tower their berries in Dark Age. And you want to tower their berries because that's where they get their power from, the mercenaries, not the gold. So you tower their berries. You make like a barracks, you make one spearman, you get enough wood for a tower. The spearman covers the villager while they drop the tower. And that will heavily delay, because then he has to make spearmen to then burn down the tower, and that gives you time to either go fast castle, or you can keep being aggressive. You can make archers, and then you can make horsemen or spearmen, depending on what they go, and you basically keep them boxed and go from there, which could be very effective. You could also do a Feudal all-in without doing Dark Age if you don't feel comfortable doing Dark Age, but you're giving the chance to tower their berries and stuff like that before you do. Now, if you look at their berries, if they tower one, so you can always tower the other, or you could just go purely all-in with horsemen and archers, which would be very good. But if they get that first round of mercenaries out, you're going to start struggling after that, just from, as I said, unit amounts. The other option is go fast castle. What you could do is the second you scout out the deer, you rush deer, and then you basically tower gold and you try to rush castle. And in fact, you could tower your gold and then push the deer in near the tower. Just in this instance, a lot of times the deer is completely separated, but contextually. You tower the gold, you try to save sheep as you go on deer, and then once you need to, you can leave the deer and go back on sheep, and then you rush castle. And basically, you could do a few things. You could do, depending if he like pushes you, you could do men at arms, just do pure men at arms to push him back. You could do pure archers, you could do knights if they don't have any spearmen and your knights are super tanking, you can heal them, things like that. And you go castle to get the relics and you try to out-muscle them with your castle units. But yeah, this is just a rough matchup, and so you have to be a little bit, if you're a civ who's in a bad matchup, you have to be a little more creative in how you try to turn the tables back in your favor. So let's see how you do. Lucky little sheep grab. Cliffside, the sheep are all around the initial base. So this is like one of the maps where I actually go like side and almost go right back on my base. Like I'll go up here and go right behind my base because there's just so many sheep around outside the base. Now this map can be a little rough because if you can go on early boar as Order of the Dragon, it's great, but the boar is so far away. So often you want to find your closest deer pack. And the reason you want to do that as Order of the Dragon is because your food villagers get so much food from deer. And if you do like 5 villagers on deer, you can then build a tower and those villagers can hide in that tower and it becomes really hard for them to push. So we're in Mineworks, so this tells me you want to go all in. And you're on a timer here because you basically have to do damage before they're able to get a lot of berries. Already, this is good for you though. You got a lot of sheep. Really nice sheep pull. So I would do wheelbarrow right now. You have the gold for it, you have the wood for it. You want to do wheelbarrow because that's so good for your villagers. They already gather more, so adding wheelbarrow for the movement speed and the extra gathering is very, very good for your villagers. So I would go, there we go, instant wheelbarrow. Okay, from my mouth to your ears. Okay, so nice thing about Minework is that it does give you that early upgrades. So I would hold on this because the potential is if he does early tower, you actually might want to go very early ram and just immediately force the issue. Don't leave the sheep on the mill, put them on the town center. Just because you don't want these to be in danger if he does some sort of rush. I like opening stable. The key thing about Order of the Dragon is you have to be very fluid and quick with your switches. So if he does something like go super into spears, you have to be very quick on switching to archers because the counters hurt even more as Order of the Dragon. But you also do extra damage as your counters, so your archer will do even more damage to spearmen. I also keep Order of the Dragon, since your resources are so thin, you can't be, like, if you delete these 2 workers, oh my god, you still wouldn't even be able to afford a horseman. But, so, for example, 6 on wood's a lot. If you're not making archers, you only really need 4 on wood. And it's these small things over the dragon that really matter, because you want to be able to make a horseman the second you drop the stable. So I would have done 4 on wood and kept more on food, so that you could be making the horseman the second you drop it. For Order of the Dragon, it's so vital that you're able to immediately make units, which is also why you can't be queuing this many villagers, because you have 60, 20, 180 food lined up in here. You could be making a gilded horseman right now. And still probably be able to get a villager, but look, this is your window right here. He's on the wood here, he's on the berries here, he has no tower, he has no units. So making a horseman right now is very, very important before he's able to get a tower up and be able to start defending. Like, this is your timing window right here. If a horseman shows up, he has to leave the wood line, he has to leave the berries, and you can just sit your horseman right here on the cistern until he responds with probably a spearman, and you can already be going archers. So like, this is your opening moment right here. And you're losing it because you're not making units. Now you have the first unit. He goes archer range first, which is huge for you. Oh, he's going to switch it. I think he realized. We really need to keep that scout around his base, though, because you want to see what he's going for. Aggression. This horseman should already be crossing. This horseman needs to be already heading over. We cannot be waiting. Because another thing about Order of the Dragon is that the early game is almost really good for you, because your units are going to do so much better. Because he can, get out... You only get out 1 unit at a time, so can you. And at that time, your unit will be better. So like, your horseman needs to cross already. You need to be, unlike HRE, you need to be insanely aggressive as Order of the Dragon if you're gonna make this feudal push work. So waiting for 2 horsemen was honestly too long. And you're going towards the wrong thing. We shouldn't be going towards gold. We should be going towards wood and berries. And that's situational, right? For other civs, going gold makes sense. If they're making knights, if they're trying to rush castle. But Byzantines likes to set up. They want to get their wood to make farms. They want to get their berries to make mercenaries. So going to his gold early is just not the right move. You need to change your tactic depending on your opponent. Good first early vill kill. Again, you didn't overstay your welcome. You merely walked back. So this is already when, at this moment, I am going archery range. And the reason being is I know he's going to go spearman. You have 3 horsemen. That's a lot. That's 600 res versus a horseman. You're already doing damage. You need to already be switching to archers, anticipating the spearman. So you should have already been dropping an archery range. Hell, maybe even 2 archery ranges, and just going mass archers at this point. And you can get the arrow attack and just go mass archers, and that's kind of your go-to right here. And see, the tower on the outpost wasn't even worth it, but I mean, sure, just in case. But look at you have all these resources back here. I would have also gone on the deer immediately, seeing that the deer is there. And you want to also be getting your upgrades, so wood upgrades, things like that. But you have to be very quick on adding the production and adding your next unit. See, there's spearmen. Imagine if you're already, so you have 500 wood. Imagine if you had already dropped an archery range. So the way to think about it is, I've made horsemen. I've made my horseman's presence felt. I've killed a villager. As I'm running back, I bounce back to base, and I'm adding my archery range, and I'm queuing up my archers. Because that's what's really gonna... This Order of the Dragon, as I said, you have to be quick on the switch. If you can do that, you will be very oppressive and your opponents will struggle. You could kill that spearman. Yeah, the catchers will go up, and see, this is why I wanted this. Exactly why I wanted the sheep under TC. But now you know he went Keshiks as his early unit, which is pretty big, because that's actually really good for you, in my opinion. Your horsemen can fight Keshiks. Look at you have way more health, similar damage. They have better melee armor, but you can fix that by getting your own melee armor. So your horseman will do good against Keshiks, and he can't mass them. He has to make them through mercenaries, right? So your horseman will do well against his Keshiks. You'll catch them too. So this is actually really good for you, but this is why you should never leave your sheep away from TC. The sheep should always be under TC, so something like that can't happen. But we're floating so many resources right now. I think adding this barracks is a mistake. You don't need to go spearmen against this. You just need to do men-at-arms. I mean, you don't need to add spearmen. You just need to keep doing horsemen. And also your archers will do pretty well against the Keshiks as well. But this is just overdoing it, in my opinion, with the spearmen. You also have a tower here, so you're good. Look at that. His Keshiks already have health. If you want to do mass men-at-arms, that could be a move, and then I would get Golden Caress. But if you want to switch into mass men-at-arms because he's going spearmen and he's doing Keshiks, that's actually a great move. If you showed up with like 6 men-at-arms, 4 to 6 men-at-arms, with full upgrades of the arrow defense and the golden caress, he has nothing that can counter men-at-arms if you get enough of them. So that's another legitimate strategy, and that's a big thing to do in these sort of games where you go one thing and then switch into the counter very quickly. So if you have a lot of food and gold, after he starts making spearmen and you see the Keshiks drop 2 barracks and immediately go men-at-arms. But Seagoing spearmen is not needed. You killed his Keshiks with your horsemen. You have towers up. Like, this is an overreaction from you that is actually not going to help you very much because your spearmen will die under TC. Men-at-arms are the go-to here. Our eco setup is also weird to me. Why do we have 5 on gold? Are we rushing castle? Rushing castle, then we need to be on deer and really going for it. Like, only 3 on wood. But if you're fighting feudal, you're leaving so many resources on the table. Because if this food and gold was horsemen and men-at-arms, you would wash him right now. Like, you would walk over him, this game would be over. Let's go to the thing about it is, if I had spent my resources, how would I be looking right now? So it was a castle rush, which is fine. But if you're gonna castle rush, I want to push that hard because you just threw away all your units for no reason, and you're seeing he's dropping a second TC, which is pretty bold of him actually to go 2 TC. But now my fear is you're gonna go castle. He's gonna push in with his units because the thing about Byzantine is that once they start making units, it happens quick. Their cisterns give them production speed. Their olive oil set up. Their eco's pumping. And you're gonna die. Well, not die, there's still time left in the game, but you're gonna really struggle to do anything because he just has so many more units than you. So when you won that engagement, if you're going castle, I would have pulled back and just waited here and gone castle and defended with those units, and then got relics and things like that, because that's what you need, right? That's your win condition. Keep your win condition in mind, your goal. What is the thing you're trying to do? Play towards that. So if your goal is castle into relics and then going from there, we should have just sat here and waited. Also make sure you gotta, knowing he has Keshiks, you need towers up whenever you leave and go on a resource like that. Especially because you had the safe one right here, so I don't know why you went this far away, but anyway. But if your goal is to keep playing in feudal and sweet push and keep making units, but you cut unit production with castle, and now you're gonna struggle. And that's the thing, man, if you just kept that feudal pressure, kept making units, a second TC is expensive for him, and you could have been walking in here, destroying all of this with rams, and then destroying his second TC, and I mean, his second TC is pretty bad too, because it's not even on resources. Defense varies, but the wood would be open, gold is still open, so you had opportunities if you just really committed. And that's so much of this game is commitment, is just deciding to do something and going all in on it, and your opponent not expecting you to go that hard into committing to something like that. As you're aging up, I should see you go mass crossbows, honestly. He has Keshiks and he has spearmen, so mass crossbows would be great. You don't have to upgrade them either. Boom, and there it is. See what I mean? You should have as many towers as your villagers, especially because your villagers are so valuable as Order of the Dragon. 2, how did you know you were there? Well, he probably saw you hit castle. He knows Order of the Dragon is food hungry. If you look on the Fog of War, you can see if sheep are, if deer are falling or still there. So he probably looked at the Fog of War, saw dead deer, and went, oh, he's right there, and sent his Keshiks. That's why if your opponent has cavalry and you are going on the hunts and you don't have map control, you have to drop towers because it's so easy for them to see the towers. And you have no units to defend. Imagine if you still had those units that you attacked in castle. They could have been sitting here defending them while they were getting resources. Instead, you lost so many villagers. It's really painful. You don't want to go spearmen here. You want to go mass crossbows and men-at-arms. I guess spearmen's fine. If you do mass crossbows with them, though, it's great. But if you do pure spearmen, that's not the move. You need some sort of ranged. He has so many more units than you. Now he's aged up, and now you have 33 villagers, he has 54. He has 22 military, you have 17, which is fine, but there we go, crossbows is your big thing here. That's why I would just drop archers, because crossbows do so much base damage, they can kill everything here. But this is also why you need something tankier. Like, in Feudal, he has nothing that beats men-at-arms. So if you did men-at-arms, especially if you upgrade them to veteran, they would not die. These need to go in the towers, get Springald upgrade on this tower, and you're safe. Good, get Springald upgrade. But now it's going to be tough because he can go mass crossbows, so... but your best bet is mass crossbows. It's mass crossbows, and if you can afford men at arms, to men at arms. If not, do mass land. Actually, mass landsticks is really, really good. If you can get like 6, which is expensive, you can get like 6 of them. He can't kill them all before you get there. So one thing you can do is mass landstick horsemen. So the horsemen make it so he has to stop and kill the horsemen. Your landstick catch up and just slaughter them. Your landstick, just catch up and slaughter them. Go grab on the relic though. Please, for the love of God, get please, please, please get your Springald upgrades. Got it. Ooh, photo finish. Don't take that fight. No, didn't have the units to take that fight. And every unit you lose is so painful. So like, you can't just throw your units away like that. Run, 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 run them away, run them away. No, run, 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 run. Good, towers is one of your most important things you can do. Just play tower defense almost. His eco is just going off the charts. That's the problem. You never upgraded this tower and it's defending farms. I wouldn't even make rams yet. Wait, he's getting... Ooh, that's not good. See, the mass range is really good for you here. This is a real... Oh, this is so good, but don't stay here for too long. That's why we need Springald upgrades in our towers, and we need to know when to walk away. Once the front line is dead, you just walk away. Walk away. You've done so much damage. But he knows. That's gonna order the dragon. Your army's here. He knows you have no other army, so he's gonna run in right here. You never upgraded this tower. Now you're upgrading it, but it's a little late. These units need to do something. Sitting here waiting for something isn't the call. You know he needs to be on wood or he's on berries. Just send them in and try to let them sit here and do damage. But him going imp, that just shows how good his eco is right now. Like, look at the eco differences. He's just bopping you. You're still on only 37 vills. You keep losing them, and you're forgetting to make vills. And he's on 65. Your relics are helping you a lot, but it's not going to carry you if you don't have any villagers. Oh my gosh, you killed so many villagers here. This is why mass crossbows is so good. Really, you're just missing walls. Like a big goal for you. A big goal when we enter castle is get relics and then wall up, because these raids with Keshiks are so brutal and they're keeping you off resources, which is the whole goal. So if you could have successfully gotten walls up side to side here and really forced him to fight you in one spot, that's really good for you because your army's better than his a lot of the time. But then losing this, that's just rough, man. Like, you have to preserve your units as much as possible as Order the Dragon. Nice, is gonna walk in with imp upgrades and you die. Yep. Yep, there it is. Hey, overall, you played this pretty well, to be honest. Like, you made this a really competitive game. I think the issue is, one, our early timings are so important as Order of the Dragon. Our first horseman coming out as soon as possible. Where we're attacking, depending on the opponent, is very, very important. Two is decisiveness. If you're gonna go castle, you really needed to cut wood and go castle way faster than you did. You had, like, after the first 3 horsemen, you could have gone castle, because he would have had to chase you with spearmen, and then when he came with Keshiks, you could have killed the Keshiks or horsemen. But small things like having the sheep under your TC, going castle faster would have been huge for you. If you had just committed to feudal all in, though, I think you would have won that, because you could have kept them off berries and wood with horsemen, and then got archers, and you could even drop the tower just to secure the position, and then he would have really struggled from there, and then you could have gone mass men at arms and won, in my opinion. But once you go castle, you really need to commit to, 1, mass imp crossbows and whatever front line you can get. 2, you still make horsemen. They're great rating, so 2 or 3 horsemen or 2 or 3 knights, and his eco is really, really good. But then you need to wall up so those raids don't kill your eco, and really use these towers as defensively as possible. So you have 2 relics, you should be in towers, you should be getting upgrades on them. Makes you really, really hard to push and makes your eco a lot safer. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck on your games, man.